My name is Angel Lemon. I am a student at Grand Canyon University studying forensic psychology. Today I'm presenting the impact of prison programs on recidivism. According to the Federal Bureau of Prisons, each year more than 600,000 individuals are released from U.S. prisons, yet nearly half return within 3 years. These persistently high recidivism rates highlight a critical truth. Punishment alone does not foster lasting change. When individuals are released without access to therapy, education, or vocational training, the cycle of incarceration often continues. However, as research by Bowdy et al. 2021, targeting evidence-based programs can significantly reduce the likelihood of reoffending. Rehabilitation and reintegration strategies consistently outperform punitive and surveillance-focused approaches in promoting successful reentry and long-term desistance from crime. In this presentation, we'll examine a range of prison-based programs and explore how they influence recidivism outcomes. My hypothesis and research questions include: are incarcerated individuals who participate in rehabilitative programs less likely to recidivate than those who do not participate in educational programs? What types of programs are more effective in reducing recidivism? How do external factors such as post-release employment opportunities or community support mediate the relationship between in-prison program participation and recidivism? And how does recidivism impact the community? According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics of 2016, the following are 5 top prison-based programs that help reduce recidivism. Cognitive behavioral therapy targets distorted thinking, impulsivity, and antisocial attitudes and is proven to reduce recidivism by up to 25 to 30% when delivered consistently. Educational programs increase post-release employment such as GED, adult literacy, and post-secondary education, while vocational training teaches marketable job skills like welding, coding, and culinary arts. Inmates who participate in educational programs are 43% less likely to recidivate. According to the National Institute of Corrections, substance abuse treatment, which includes therapeutic communities and medication-assisted treatment, is especially effective for individuals with co-occurring disorders. Trauma-informed care addresses histories of abuse, neglect, and PTSD. This is particularly effective for women and youth in custody. McKinsey 2000 reports that reentry planning and transitional services, which include housing support, job placement, and mental health referrals, have programs like the BOPs, Ready to Work, and residential reentry centers that show promise. External factors. According to Jacobson Scheme 2020, upon release, formerly incarcerated individuals face numerous financial hurdles that increase their risk of reoffending. Having a criminal record is a major barrier to employment, making it difficult to secure stable work. Without a legitimate source of income, it makes it harder to secure housing, and individuals may turn back to crime. Those who do find work often face low wages. Former offenders face discrimination and social prejudice that can create significant obstacles to employment and social acceptance, contributing to feelings of hopelessness and desperation. The limited availability of support services for housing, substance abuse treatment, and mental health care after release leaves individuals vulnerable. Impacts of recidivism. Recidivism has negative impacts on communities. Jacobs and Scheme 2020 reports that high recidivism contributes to a higher local crime rate, creating fear and instability. The cost of reincarceration diverts funds and could be used for other services like education and strains the local economy through unemployment. Communities that have high numbers returning from prison are often already impoverished and lack resources. Communities with high recidivism rates can create new victims experiencing economic stagnation, creating a downward spiral. The constant reentry and reoffending can lead to the loss of social ties and erode trust between neighbors and create stigma that makes it harder for everyone to succeed. The cycle of reoffending also burdens taxpayers, harms victims, and hinders social progress. Research methodology for in-prison programs and recidivism. To study whether educational programs in prison reduce recidivism, I would design a quantitative quasi-experimental study, ideally with longitudinal data from prison and court records. Treatment group will consist of 600 incarcerated individuals who completed an educational program such as an GED, vocational training, or college courses, and they will be studied for post-release at years 1, 2, and 3. For the comparison group, we'll have another total of 600 similar individuals who did not participate in any educational programs, and they will also be studied post-release at years 1, 2, and 3. Sampling method will be stratified or matching sampling to control for confounding variables such as age, offense, and sentence length. Data collection and analysis. Variables. My independent variable is the participation in educational programs. Dependent variable is recidivism within 3 years of release. Control would be age, gender, the type of offense, prior criminal history, and sentence length. For data collection, I will collect longitudinal data over a 3-year period by utilizing information from the Federal Bureau of Prisons, the Department of Corrections, the Administrative Office of the United States Courts for offender information, release dates, and offender criminal history. Time frame for this research will track recidivism after 1, 2, and 3 years after release from prison. For statistical tests, I will first perform a chi-square test to find an association between the two for categorical comparisons. Then I would use logistic regression, a binary outcome, to predict likelihood of reoffending given program participation and other control variables. For statistical analysis, Cox regression will be used to analyze time-dependent data, determining not only if someone recidivates, but also when, which is crucial for evaluating long-term impact. Hypothetical findings. Comparing prisoners who attend educational programs to those who do not would likely find that the educated group has a much lower rate of reoffending after release. This study will also find that educational programs decrease prison misconduct, creating a safer environment that facilitates more focused learning, which in turn further reduces the likelihood of reoffending. Further findings will reveal that inverse relationship between education and recidivism strengthen the higher educational achievement. For example, the more education one receives, the lower chance of recidivism. Future research could include: how do staff attitudes and adherence to evidence-based models affect program outcomes in prisons? Do tailored programs improve results for Indigenous, Hispanic, and rural populations? Are housing, mental health, and community ties better predictors of desistance? How do mandates and budgets shape program availability? How factors within institutional environments such as overcrowding, misconduct rates, and staff-inmate relationships influence program engagement and success? The effectiveness of programs that include strong post-release support systems such as mentoring, housing assistance, and family support in mentoring educational and behavioral gains. Challenges and ethical considerations. The Institute of Medicine 2007 lists challenges and ethical considerations in performing research. Prisoners must be fully informed about the study and participate freely without pressure or coercion. Researchers can create an unfair advantage for participants who are given access to valuable educational programs, especially if those programs are not available to the general prison population. This can make participation in studies inherently coercive. In the case of comparing those who participated in programs and those who did not, researchers must consider if the two groups are truly comparable. The non-participant group may have been unable to participate due to factors such as mental health issues, inadequate access, or other disadvantages that could independently influence recidivism rates. Researchers must take extreme care to protect the confidentiality of participants. This is especially crucial in prison environments where privacy can be limited. Researchers must take robust measures to protect the private data they collect. Revealing a participant's criminal or health history or the fact of their participation in the program could have legal or social consequences for them, both inside and outside the prison. The research should not cause psychological or physical harm. Sharing results with participants is considered ethical. All research involving human subjects, particularly in prisons, must be reviewed and approved by the Institutional Review Board to ensure ethical standards are met. In conclusion, recidivism isn't inevitable. According to Bowdry et al. 2021, state prisons can foster personal transformation, but only when rehabilitation takes precedence over punishment. This shift requires more than words. It demands investment in evidence-based programs, trauma-informed care, and culturally responsive interventions. Del Pozo et al. 2025 concludes that the programs we choose to fund directly shape outcomes. Without support, individuals often return to prison. With it, they're more likely to reintegrate successfully. Prioritizing rehabilitation leads to safer facilities, healthier individuals, and stronger communities. It's not only a wise policy choice, it is also a moral obligation. Thank you.